Fix that.
Hey,
there
what's up?
Go.
Yo,
what's up, Xander Hall? Welcome to RFC. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm just getting used to my new place. I'm still moving a little bit, so a little tired, but it's been nice. Finally out of Florida. Here,
there you go.
Let me just check my balancing really fast. You guys want to talk again?
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay, you sound good. Bowblax is a little quiet, so I'll turn you up a little bit. There you go. All right.
Yeah, and he's also streaming, by the way, just so you guys know.
Yeah, I streamed it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself to my audience, because some of them don't know who you are. Some of them do, but some of them don't.
Okay, yeah. My name's Xander Hall. I stream on YouTube and Twitch, and I upload videos to YouTube. I've been doing this for about a year now, experienced some pretty good growth, I'd say. I'm pretty thankful I can do this as a job. And I talk mostly about political topics. I generally don't get into like YouTube drama unless you count like calling out a particular YouTuber for promoting some political ideology as like drama baiting. But I mostly just do like overtly political topics, not so much like YouTube fighting stuff. So it's probably something different. But yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and let people know who I am since you're streaming as well. My name's AugieRFC. I am a commentary channel, I guess. I'm one of the only streamers in the commentary community. I am not very political on this channel, which is kind of what actually interests me in this conversation. Because, just listening to that clip there, I already have some immediate questions. And I guess, we can kind of go ahead and get into that. Of course, Bowblax is here too. Of course, he's a co-host on the show. I'm sure your audience is familiar with Bowblax. There,
Yeah. Do I need to introduce myself to the audience, or do they kind of
give yourself a fancy, quick introduction, then we can get right into it.
I'm Bowblax. I basically take drama scenarios on Twitter, screen cap them, and then read them out word for word on my channel with some minimal commentary in there. And that's basically all I do. And I'm not very political at all, so that's why I think this conversation is interesting, because you say that my channel is like pushing some sort of ideology subconsciously or whatever. So I'm very interested to...
So how exactly is the commentary community you said is pushing like right-wing or reactionary thought onto the normie public?
Yeah, generally I do think that's the case, although it's kind of hard to quantify since I guess I can like introduce some new vocabulary here because it helps sort of frame my argument a little better. Are you guys familiar with the concept of stochastic terrorism?
No, explain that.
Okay, so traditionally a lot of like particular groups, whether it be terror groups or hate groups, they generally put out blatant propaganda and they try to bring people into a particular group with particular leaders and a very specific ideology and goals, and that's usually how it's been done in the past. But it seems like a lot of modern far-right groups, rather than doing that, have sort of put out a lot of very popular figures that, while they do spread particular rhetoric and whatnot, instead of having a solid knit group with members and meetings and whatnot and particular goals, instead you have these disconnected figures that don't have any direct connection with anyone who follows these ideologies or these particular groups, just sort of pushing this propaganda, and then those within the audience do what they do, and there's plenty of plausible deniability to say, well, I didn't tell anybody to do this, right? Like, this is just sort of what they decided to do. I mean, I'm unconnected from that. And this became like a really big talking point around the time of the Christchurch shooting last year, because the shooter wrote in his manifesto that he followed a lot of like far-right figures, Stefan Molyneux, Lawrence Southern, believed in like lots of conspiracy theories pushed by those figures, and they all went along trying to like distance themselves from it, but it was the logical outcome of those figures' actions.
If I recall correctly, wasn't he? He also in his manifesto said something like that Crash Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon taught him about ethno-nationalism or something like that.
Oh yeah, there were some spicy poll memes in his manifesto, but you could really tell like when he was memeing. Yeah, well, because you can tell when he's like memeing and when he's not, right?
Right.
That he'll say something somewhat like, I'm just like, oh yeah, Spyro taught me how to burn away the blacks or whatever. But then he'll go on to talk about how white people are being outbred in Europe and they need to maintain like a white majority. Like there's a pretty big difference there, right? Chat's telling me you guys are still quiet, so I'll turn you up a little bit more. So I should clarify that I don't think that you're like nearly on that level. I don't think you guys are like pushing any like alt-right agenda, but there seems to be this trend that I've noticed, and I even experienced when I was younger. I'm 21, I was like 16 when this started for me, is there's a lot of like center or even left-leaning figures that through a particular line of like trends in rhetoric or even just friendships online tend to lead towards other figures that may be a little bit more extreme or a little bit more right. And then from there, you kind of jump from further and further and further, sort of down almost like a sales funnel or a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
and
it's called like the pipeline, right?
Yeah, and it's not the fault of anybody who's a specific part of it, because it can be you could be part of it without even knowing it or even wanting to be. Hell knows I could be part of it, you know? It just seems like a...
And it leaves a question though, because we showed a clip that Bowblax had put up on his Twitter, just for like context before this debate begins, and you are pretty vicious at Bowblax. I got to give you some credit there. You cut a nice ass promo on him, but like it seems like there's like a bit of like, you say it's not necessarily somebody's fault, but then you like are obviously pissed off at Bowblax, like as if he's intentionally spreading some sort of ideology that's dangerous to your overall causes.
Yeah, I don't think that, so I should clarify that I don't think Bowblax is pushing like an alt-right or far-right or harmful agenda. I think some of his rhetoric or some of the things that he focuses on are a bit, can lead you in that direction a little bit, like the sort of like like entitled Twitch thought type thing. Seems to be a big trend online right now, especially on YouTube, stemming from like a misunderstanding, I believe, between the job of streaming and the job of doing like YouTube videos that are prepared content. And I feel like a lot of people who are like, oh, I think these female streamers are exploiting their simps for money, and that's a problem, and they're being too sexual, and blah blah blah. Twitch isn't being fair with their TOS. And then you kind of take that, and then you may find another YouTuber who's like, in fact, this is bad because yada yada. Women need to stay. They need to be modest. They need to blah, blah, blah. Like some traditional conservative bullshit. And they'd be like, okay, yeah, they're making a good point there. And it kind of goes down, right? So I don't think you're pushing an alt-right. Yeah, it's like a pipeline of ideology.
You're talking about, this recent drama that's kind of strung up where it's been like, a bunch of Twitch streamers reacting negatively to YouTubers and YouTubers, shit-talking Twitch streamers. The main argument, is just, hey, Twitch streamers who play videos on their streams or whatever and just like leave it playing, eating food, or they're not even in the room to comment over it, and then they take that and post it to their YouTube channels. That's what we're against. I mean, we're not against streamers taking, content, reacting to it transformatively. I mean, that's my entire channel, is reacting transformatively to other people's content. That's most of what I do. But I'm curious though, because like you're saying that this whole current, you cite that as an example of what you're talking about, where how we accidentally sort of fall into this sort of, I guess, like conservative pipeline or something. But how does that correlate? Like, I'm not seeing the correlations there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so generally, up until very recently, because I know you guys have been calling out XQC and like Mizkif recently, so that's a pretty big change. But up until like a couple days ago, most of this talk seems to be disproportionately levied at like popular female streamers, which sort of feeds the other groups that I don't think you guys are necessarily a part of, that just don't like the Twitch thoughts. The female streamers, they think, utilize their looks and their sexual appeal to like drain money from their
You're
fans.
saying like our content is fueling like genuine like misogyny or something like
that.
Yeah,
it could. Whether intentionally or not, I don't think it's intentional. And I think lately it's probably gotten better, because these last few days you've been calling out, while I may not agree with the actual arguments, we can get to that in a minute. Yeah, I've been calling out like larger like male streamers like XQC and whatnot. Like, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, the arguments, it's not like, we see Pokemon in the news and we're like, oh, fuck yeah, let's shit on a woman, let's go. It's not really the thought process that goes into the channel or whatever. And I would imagine, it not like I'm probably, in the whole commentary scene, probably the most conservative, at least publicly. Now, again, not that I'm very political, but, I grew up in a Catholic conservative household, and that's where, most of my ideals kind of come from or whatever. But again, like on YouTube, like I try to separate that because I'm not really interested. I have no, like, my channel's goal is literally just like, let's entertain some people. Let's laugh at some shit on the internet. Let's just have a good time. Let's build a channel where people can just hang out or whatever. I'm not going at this like, ooh, let's like secretly funnel misogyny and like get all my audience.
Yeah,
I mean, we do plenty of those jokes. I'm not gonna lie. I know you're not familiar with my content, but we do plenty of women jokes or whatever. But it's very
a testament of how separated Augie is politically from like the content. Me and Augie are essentially like political opposites, and we co-host the show.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, we agree on a lot, but Bowblax comes from a more liberal perspective.
Well, I haven't really expressed my political opinions like that openly on the internet, to be fair. So I don't know how much you would even know that we're the same on, but yeah.
Yeah, we disagree all the time, is basically what he's saying.
Well, and that's fine, right? Like for me, I do a lot of real edgy jokes. I'm known for getting canceled a lot by even my own community for being really, really edgy. Like, I mean, I regularly joke about how the fucking femoids are trying to ruin men or whatnot. Like, it's clearly a joke, but and it's funny, and it can be really, really funny, and I enjoy doing that a lot. The main problem is if that was all that I did, my main body of work wasn't saying, yeah, but really, like, I don't believe this. This is a bad thing to think. We're joking about it because it's ridiculous to believe this thing, that like women are ruining the world or whatever, right? And so I don't necessarily see that in a lot of other cases, right? So even if you don't support that ideology, you may joke about it, but if you aren't actively saying, yeah, by the way, I don't actually believe this, some people may come out of that thinking, oh, wow, okay, yeah, women are bad.
You know, this reminds me of, and I know this argument's been made before, but it has to be brought up, right? This reminds me of the video games argument, how it gets you used to like real life violence and then could lead you to committing real life crimes. Obviously, I think everyone here can agree that video games don't do that, right? Like unless, yeah.
Yep.
So what's the difference then? You know?
Well, because video games, I mean, obviously, okay, so for starters, video games don't prevent violence. There's been plenty of, or don't cause violence. There's been plenty of studies done about this. Nobody believes this is a thing. The only time video games push somebody to be violent is if they already had some sort of condition or some other plans to be violent in the first place.
Yeah.
The problem is political radicalization is very different. When you're watching a lot of creators that are that you follow that are telling you things like brown people are coming into your country and they're outbreeding white people, they're causing crime, they're raping white women, blah, blah, blah. Like these are a lot of ideas pushed by like the far right once you go down the tunnel. And then you end up pulling a... I don't remember the Christchurch shooter's name. You end up doing that and writing a big manifesto talking about it. Or a few months, there was a San Diego shooter who went and he tried to burn down, I think it was a synagogue because he believed the Jews controlled the world and they were bringing in the brown people. The Jewish question was his motivation, pretty common far-right talking point. And then you've got... the El Paso shooter also wrote a manifesto. He talked about, granted, he didn't like the Republicans either. He thought that they weren't doing enough to stop the brown people from coming in and ruining our ecosystem. Yeah. So while we've never seen like a manifesto written by a school shooter talking about how Doom or video games pushed him, the most they had was like a clip of the those shooters saying it's going to be just like Doom. But that's very far from writing a manifesto saying this is why I did it and this is who inspired me to do it.
But I don't see how any of I don't see how any of this connects to my content in any way whatsoever, even slightly.
Well, do you want to get?
We're talking about YouTube commentary, then it goes to the Jewish question and stuff like that. So it's like a bit of a leap.
So basically, like I understand your train of thought to like an extent to where like I make a video reading out tweets about a Lindian, even though in the video I never call her a thought, I never have any misogynistic comments. The mere fact of like criticism or hate being levied towards her for like throwing her cat or whatever would invoke those type of comments in the comments section and then might lead down a path. But even then, like I don't know how like them saying like someone's a thought or whatever can like lead to like, oh, now I'm gonna hate brown people and hate all this and all the stuff you said that just went almost completely over my head because I don't know about any of this like extremist ideology stuff. Like I don't even see that connection. So could you like bridge the gap for me a bit if you do believe there's a connection there?
I would love to. So can I use the example? I like him a lot. I should clarify. I have nothing against him. He's super nice. He came in my stream last night and donated like $20. He's a cool dude. Muda from Some Ordinary Gamers.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a big recurring character on this show.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to him sometime. He's a cool dude. But I did a video on him recently. Like, it wasn't anything crazy or rough or anything like that. I like the dude, but he did make a video that I felt like covering. And I believe it was his video about Call of Duty removing the OK sign. And he ends up bringing a lot of arguments like how there are certain people who are like internet Karens that are trying to claim all these things are hate symbols and they're bad, like the OK sign or Pepe the Frog. I don't know if you've seen my chat, but it's full of Pepe the Frog, so... I definitely don't think it's a hate symbol. But he flashes that one ADL article on screen and just barely misses it. But it literally says in these articles talking about how like Pepe and the OK sign are hate symbols, that it says you have to consider the context of it, that every single instance of it is not a hate symbol. In fact, most aren't. You have to consider the context of who's saying it, why they're saying it, why are they saying it, and consider whether or not it is based on the context. And I don't feel like that's a very it's a very controversial take, but I see that same source being cited by people saying the left is going too far, saying that something like this is a hate symbol, even if that's not what Muda said. and they don't even read further below. So Muda did that, and I can just imagine someone like Sargon of Akkad, who's a pretty big YouTuber, who's a bit further to the right, talking about that same topic. And, you know, you go and you watch Muda's video, and then you watch Sargon's, and he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, it's the left doing it. And it's not a very hard rabbit hole to imagine. I mean, we've seen tons of people, including myself, come out with stories about their political radicalization to the right. There's a lot of people who may unknowingly contribute to that. And I'm not saying that they're bad people for doing it, or they need to change their content.
Oh, yeah,
that's
how the YouTube algorithm works. You know, it promotes content that's similar to the last video you watched. The OK hand sign, like all of my chat is spamming that right now. Hold on, all my chat's spamming that right now, and they're doing that. Yeah, I think they're all doing that just to say like fuck the people who are trying to turn this into something that's evil. And when they see a game like Call of Duty, take that out. That's giving power to the same people who are like creating a big deal out of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Call of Duty doing it is pretty fucking dumb, especially when there's tons of other stuff in the game. Like, yeah, I think it's pretty fucking stupid. I think maybe if some dude comes in the game and they're in the voice chat saying kill all N-words, blah blah blah, and doing like the OK hand sign, just ban the person, right? Don't ban the whole emote. I thought it was pretty stupid considering Call of Duty also has a ton of other issues right now, like their fucking 3-hour updates that happen once a week.
Oh god, the fucking 3 million gigabyte shit that come out every month.
They uninstall the game and reinstall it every update? I think that's something that I heard. It's really dumb. So
it takes long enough for me to believe that. So
yeah. So like, there's plenty of issues. I think that that just like removing the OK sign is probably like a pretty stupid thing to do. Like, it was pretty dumb. That's my state on that.
Okay.
But I do think. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I kind of wanted to go back to like the question I asked, where like how my like Alindy content, for example, connects to this pipeline. Because I understand what you're saying with like the Muda example, but I don't really think your example exactly answered my question, because what Muda is talking about with the OK hand symbol is directly related to politics. But I never really have much content that's directly related to politics in that way at all. Like, for example, calling Alindy a thought is like. I never called her a thought, by the way, but I'm just saying like that's what people could like say in the comment section for that video, because I was criticizing her for something else. I don't see how that's connected to politics at all. Like how would it happen with me?
So everything is political. Believe it or not, like all art, everything has some political message, right? Even if you say you don't want to be political, it's a political statement. But a lot of people just think political means like talking about electoral politics or so on. But like, there's also sociological politics.
Yeah, exactly. Like the OK hand symbol, that's like talking about it being hateful or not is inherently political. I do even though it like has nothing to do with like legislation or whatever. I 100% get that. But I mean, when I talk about like YouTube drama or like something silly people say online, like I don't think that's everything is political. Like I definitely see like some political relation to a couple things like OK hand symbol or what have you, but like just me like reading out like Keemstar and H3 arguing, that's not really like political.
I mean,
in my opinion,
it is if people are talking about like women being like thoughts and needing to not be on Twitch or needing to be like dressed in a certain way on Twitch. I don't know. There's like, I've seen people who literally argue that if women have big boobs, they need to be wearing like a sweater at all times. So when there are people talking about that, then it's a pretty political topic, you know?
Yeah, but that's not what I was talking about within the video. And like any conversation can lead to any other line of conversation. Like we could be talking about puppies and then all of a sudden we're talking about like the ethno state, like fucking 20 sentences later. That could happen. Like any type of conversation can lead to any type of conversation. So if you say everything's political, then everything can be related to furries, because we could talk about furries. Everything could be related to everything. That's such a like broad example. Like if you say that everything can connect to politics within conversation, which is true because everything can connect to anything within conversation, then that's true for literally every subject in the world. You know?
Yeah. So if you have, so that's the thing though. If you have, if you talk about a particular subject and you go down to the comments, let's say, and you see a lot of people talking about Twitch thoughts ruining Twitch, or Twitch thoughts need to get the fuck out or whatever, then it may be possible that the way that you framed your arguments led people to that area. You could have just said, hey, listen, by the way, I don't think like female streamers are bad or anything. Like just, I don't know, like some
I've
little
said
thing,
that
right?
in my videos. I have said that in my videos.
I disagree. No,
but okay. Augie.
No, but here's the deal, like you make a video or something like it. Here's another topic, like female streamers, like H3 production. Every single time I talk about or do a video on HD Productions, there's at least a few comments talking about Jews or whatever. Like, how am I supposed to avoid that? Because I don't do any dog whistles in my videos. I'm not like sneaking in like some like sort of reference to something like evil or something, but it always happens. There's always like at least like a few comments in like a sea of 100 comments that are just like, oh, he's Jewish, right? Makes you think.
Yeah.
Like, how do I avoid that, right? Like, because I'm not instigating that, or at least I like to think I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, it's just inevitable. The internet's full of assholes.
No, yeah. It's what I was saying with like conversation. Everything connects to everything. So the solution, I think that Xander Hall is saying is like, don't make content at all. Like,
no, absolutely not.
What?
So,
I'm not allowed to talk about anything.
No.
Anyone in any of my videos can just say a political statement in my comments, no matter what I'm talking about.
Well,
even on a Nintendo video, people could start talking about politics.
And sure, they could. Like, I've seen the posts on Twitter where someone's talking about puppies and some comments like Trump 2020, and there's a big argument. I'm not talking about that, obviously. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is when you discuss a certain topic and something attracts a particular group of people, right? So if you do a video about Ethan Klein and you've got Nazis in the comments occasionally saying like, he's a Jew, of course he would do this. Then there maybe it's like worth speaking out against that and saying, hey, by the way, fucking Nazis, get the fuck out of my audience, and just tell them off, right? Or like ban them or whatever. I don't think you need to start like a big crusade against them, you know?
You say to not do something in the chat, and then the chat's going to do the exact opposite. This happens all the time.
Well,
then you would just ban them, right?
Well,
if they're breaking your chat's rules.
No, I understand what he's saying. You got to say it passively. Like in my videos about like female streamers, like I don't say this in every single video, but especially when like I'm reading a tweet that seems like particularly misogynistic, I say like, hey, this is not something I agree with. This is not something I think you should criticize the streamer for what they're doing, but not because they're a woman. And I've actually been doing that a lot recently because a lot of my videos are Pokemon related recently. But yeah, and so that's why I'm like confused. Like, why is Xander Hall calling me out? Like, you specifically called me out, like, hey, Bowblax, I'm getting to you. Like, you know me in your head as like someone who tries to push these ideologies. When I talk about topics that could like lead people to, have those opinions, or well, not lead people to have those opinions, but like have people who have those opinions show up in the comments or whatever. But like I never like indicate that that's what I support or that's what I talk about. So I'm curious like why I stand out so much in your mind as like this reactionary channel.
Because I don't really like pay much attention to the drama channel, like the drama community on YouTube. The times that I did was like back in 2016 when the biggest ones were like Keemstar and then eventually Scarce. So you're like one of the few
the good old days.
Yeah. But so you're one of the few people that I know, and I've also seen you make a lot of videos about these female streamers, and I've seen them get a lot of hate because of it. So I associate you a lot with this big like wrath of like women hating people that have gone after a few of these female streamers have gotten called out. Now I don't disagree with some of the call outs that you've made. I think some of the criticisms are just. It's just there seems to be this issue where a lot of people come out of your videos thinking, oh, these fucking Twitch thoughts showing off their pussies on camera. I fucking hate them, and that seems to be the issue.
Yeah, I feel like that's just inevitable when I talk about female streamers. And I think that's less on me and more on like what's popular, I guess, on YouTube, which I don't try like intentionally lean into. Like if you look at my channel, like I criticize male and females pretty equally. Maybe sometimes like a certain month I have more videos on females and other months I have more videos on males. Typically overall I probably have more videos on males because there's more male creators. But I know like my videos on females tend to get more views, but like I can't control the amount of views each one of my videos get. So I literally don't know what I could do better, and I'm just curious, like, since you seem to have like such a huge issue with me and you think like I'm intentionally or unintentionally pushing this narrative, like what can I do to like not
contribute to like this rabbit hole
or like garner like misogyny particularly?
Yeah, sure,
because I don't agree that's connected politically, but the misogyny aspect I kind of understand that it attracts those people.
Yeah, I want to clarify, I don't think you're doing it intentionally. I think you're probably like a chill dude. But no, I think the main thing that you can do is probably just like be aware that's a thing that could happen. Like if you're doing like another video on Pokemon, there's going to be a bunch of people in the comments saying, oh, you fucking, I hate these Twitch thoughts. Be like, Listen, I don't hate her because she's a woman or anything. These are the reasons why she's bad. Female Twitch streamers, like, I don't know, just throw something in there, like just to try to prevent that kind of audience from sort of congregating in your audience.
Accounts does Bowblax have to sign up for to it?
Oh my god! Oh my god! But yeah,
he has to make one. That's the key. He has to make an OnlyFans.
But what I would say to you, Xander Hall, is like you are extremely aggressive. You were in that clip. You were extremely aggressive towards me, and basically like sharing this false narrative, kind of that like my videos are like helping you know, these people basically go to the right. And now that you've talked to me and you've like learned that like I do make comments that are like, hey, I'm like against misogyny or whatever within my videos, it seems like you're changing your mind a bit, but like, don't you think you should be more careful in like the call outs you make as well in that regard? Like, don't you think it goes both ways? Like, I don't want people thinking I do that shit, you know?
I think the one time that I mentioned you in or the couple times I mentioned you in my video is me being like, I'll get to you in a minute, Bowblax, because like I was talking about other things and your videos kept on popping up on the side. I don't think I ever like came out very strongly against you or thinking that you're like a bad person.
I don't know. In that clip, you seem
I just think you're.
But...
Yeah, probably. It's really fucking hot in my apartment. Until I got my AC fixed yesterday. No, I think Bowblax. I think Bowblax is probably like a fine dude, but I do think being a fairly large drama channel, he does contribute quite a bit to this sort of to this rabbit hole, I guess.
So you basically just want us to put like disclaimers or something in our videos, or
not necessarily,
and just clarify, like, hey, like, you know.
Not necessarily. I think it's probably just sort of like, I don't know what you would have to do. I don't want you to have to make like big changes to your content. I don't think it's
I'm just like
necessary.
You know, you're talking about an issue, and it seems like the only solution to me that alleviates this, you know, perceived problem is to just stop making content. But you said that's not, you know, which you really, you know, were arguing for. So I'm just kind of like trying to figure out like what is the end goal of this? Because obviously, you know, you're fighting for something you strongly believe in. What like if you were in control of everything, in control of the universe, like what would you do to like make the YouTube dramatary community a better place or something? I don't know.
I mean, I can give you an example of something I had to deal with when I was starting out with a particular group of people that was in my audience. So I'm a leftist, full-on communist, like all that shit. Crazy, I know.
Oh shit!
But I get a lot of people in my community from time to time that we call tankies in leftist circles. These are people who defend like China and the USSR and just like authoritarian shitty regimes in the past that have tried to do communism. And they like hardcore defend these groups and talk about how, oh yeah, everybody who died under the USSR deserved it, blah, 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 like things like that.
Jesus. Okay.
And you attract these people because if you talk about communism or why capitalism is bad, they come along and they try to get into your community, right? And I found these people congregating in my community, and I saw them commenting on my video that like landlords deserve to be like genocided, unironically. And I ended up having to come out and say, okay, by the way, fucking tankies, get out. And I purged them from my community, not through like any really hard effort. Just whenever I'd see one being a dumb fucking chat, I'd be like, hey, you're a fucking idiot. And then they would get mad at me and they would leave. So like if you see some people in the comments or in your videos frequently talking about how women are bad and Twitch thoughts and blah, 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 it might just be worth making a joke about them, like make fun of them, you know? Making fun of people is hilarious and it gets rid of them and you don't sort of harbor that particular part of your fan base and you get to keep making the kind of content that you do and you don't really need to make any huge changes. It's not that hard, I don't think, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never like tried to like intentionally like extradite like certain opinions from my channel or like directly make fun of them, but I definitely like make fun of people who like maybe there'll be a comment where people are like, fucking Twitch thought, and then in the video I'm like, whoa, that's like a little far or whatever, or like I make fun of them. I can't think of a specific example on my head, but I think I like passively do that because it's just my belief, and like obviously I'm gonna like make fun of people who have these like ridiculous opinions about like, oh, women are inferior to men or whatever. But like when it comes to your the extreme political people that come to your channel versus like my channel, like obviously I'm a bigger channel, so maybe if we like compare it 1-to-1, it might be like exactly equal. But percentage wise, I would say since you are a political channel, it would make sense for people of extreme political ideologies to end up on your channel, whether it be people disagreeing with you or agreeing with you, or like kind of like the, you know, the extreme communists that you were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
Whereas with my content, like I honestly don't think that happens as much. Like I would argue that channels like yours and other political channels would, create pipelines going either way in a political direction than mine, because yours are directly political and you directly try to get people to think about politics. And what if someone like hates you and then they start going down the alt-right pipeline because out of like retaliation for you or something.
Well, most
like
people
Like,
that hate me are already down it, but a lot of people that hate me, even on the left, just end up going further left than me because they hate me. They think I'm like some kind of bigot, and those people exist, obviously. But yeah,
but you see what I'm saying, right? Like, basically, like your channel would contribute to someone going down a pipeline of any political ideology, whether it be a left pipeline or a right pipeline, rather than me. Like, I don't really think my content really contributes to a pipeline as much as yours would, because you're directly political.
Well, that's the interesting thing, though, right? Personally, I think that content that doesn't really present itself as political has more political power or more propaganda. When I say propaganda, I mean it purely neutrally. I don't think propaganda is bad or good. It's based on like what it is. I think content that doesn't present itself as political has way more efficacy, or is way more efficacious than overtly political content, because a lot of people aren't really interested in politics until they get interested in a particular topic, and then they find out it's political later on. To a lot of people, political just means something I disagree with, right? If I made the claim in this voice chat that, I don't know, if I make the claim in this voice chat Nazis are bad, I assume you guys aren't Nazis, so it's probably not that crazy a political statement. But if I came here and said Nazis are good, now I'm making a crazy argument, now it's a political statement, right? So while you may make a video saying something along the lines of like, Pokimane is using her, I think you've made the claim that she's using like her looks and her sexuality to try to get money, right? Have you done that?
No, I've never made that claim. No.
Oh, you have? Who was it that did? Oh, that was Leafy, sorry. Yeah, that was what Leafy did. I remember calling out Leafy. So Leafy, for example, he may make a video saying that like Pokimane does the thing where she like, bends over, putting her cat down to try to bait her simps into donating to her. And that may just come off as like a funny joke or whatever to Leafy or to whoever makes the joke, right? But a lot of people may watch that and think, oh, these fucking femoids are, they're trying to use their looks to suck the money out of men.
People who aren't inherently political would be like, if they watch a lot of Leafy, like they're more than likely, when they do become political, if they ever do, they're gonna go to the right. Is that what you're saying?
They may not go to the right. They may stop anywhere. For me, I can talk about how it was for me, because I went through this myself, and I guess I can kind of give a little bit of a perspective from my point of view.
All right.
When I was 16, do you guys remember that fucking humongous video? The lady screaming, "Humongous wolf!"
Yeah.
Yes,
You guys remember that?
Yes.
That was like, now that was a hilarious video. That lady was fucking crazy. She was terrible. It was funny. There's been a lot of videos that come out of like these like crazy like college students with like pink hair or whatever having a mental breakdown out in public, and it's really funny to make fun of, because usually their arguments are ridiculous. Or that one lady yelling at the white guy for having dreads. You can make fun of those, and it can be a really good time. It can be really funny. You don't push anybody to the right. Like there's not much of a message out of there, But what happened with me was, and there wasn't enough of this going on back then, you had a lot of YouTubers that would cover these videos and be like, oh, look at these crazy feminists, look at these crazy SJWs, blah, blah, blah. They're crazy, though, but I'm still like a lefty. People like Chris Raygun, people like Shuanhead, whatnot. They don't really do this as much anymore. But then they would associate with people like Sargon of Akkad or like Andy Worski. These are the names off my head because I knew of them back then, who were conservative and made content talking about how the left is like this, so sort of strawmanning the left into this box of these crazy SJWs that have these mental breakdowns in public. And I found myself thinking, oh, it's not just this small sort of segment to the left that are these triggered SJWs. It's all the left, or a vast majority of the left. And it sort of goes like that. And it's hard to sort of put into words. I did a whole video about it if you want to check it out. But it seems to be a pretty big trend that's happening. And I don't really know what the solution is.
Yeah,
I guess
I 100% understand what you're saying. I've heard of this concept before, and I do agree that it exists to some extent. But I personally believe that it falls more on the fault of the person rather than the creator, because I think if you're the type of person to like go down that pipeline and keep looking into politics more and more, I think you're just a person inherently interested in politics, and you are going to become extremely political regardless of what content you watch.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
a good point.
At you. Look at you. You just you went down this pipeline. Now you make primarily political content. Some people are just more politically interested in than other people. And like,
yeah, to add on to that,
if I can finish my sentence.
Go ahead, Bowblax, then I have something to say.
Yeah, basically, with my content, like, honestly, I look at a lot of my comments, I know the type of audience I have. For majority of people, it's literally just listening to some funny tweets, engaging in, being entertained by drama, and they move on with their lives. Not everyone is going to, like, go down this political pipeline. And if you do go down this political pipeline, I feel like you were going to go down it regardless of what creator you watch, because that's just the type of person you are.
Sure. I don't think the vast majority of people that engage in this kind of content are going to go down that pipeline. And there's probably an argument to be made that people who are maybe a little more inclined to engaging in politics will probably be interested in this kind of stuff. But I did not think I was engaging with any type of political content when I got into it. To me, these were just videos of crazy people having mental breakdowns in public. It wasn't until some creator that I ended up discovering who talked about those same topics and associated with the figures I was watching that weren't political, ended up saying, oh yeah, by the way, there's a particular group of people that are doing this. They want to do these things. Not just that, they want to take away your right to free speech. They want to make it so you can't spread your legs on the bus or whatever. And you kind of go from there.
Okay, go.
Okay, if you finish your thought, Augie, and then I'll reply to that.
Just go ahead and reply, because then I'm probably going to read super chats, because we got a lot piling in. Also, we might take callers if YouTubers want to hop in, because I see my chat is just all over the place. So if, some YouTubers want to call in or whatever. I see Rose Malay is in there.
Okay.
I talked to her once.
We'll talk about that later. Rose is...
Yeah, she came in my chat once and I debated her like a while back. It's a pretty good video on my channel.
Had no clue you guys had a debate. That is insane.
Yeah. Now to reply to what you say. Yeah.
Go ahead,
basically, like, I understand that, like, hey, if you watch a certain creator, maybe you'll, like, see people that they talk to or go down, like, the YouTube recommended and eventually find a political opinion in your ear. But not everyone who hears a political opinion will continue, like, looking for that political content. Like, I know it's hard for you to imagine, because I know you're a very political person, and that's fine. Being a political person is fine. But politics doesn't interest everyone. Some people can hear political opinion and then just not care at the end of the day. And I feel like that's a majority of viewers.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, no, of course. Like I said,
and
the
I
vast
think that's
majority
of my viewers too. And I don't really think I'm contributing to any pipeline.
No, sure. So the vast majority of people who hear this kind of stuff aren't going to go down like the alt-right pipeline and become conservatives or anything. But regardless of whether or not you actively want to or anything, your content may contribute to an overall push in this particular direction. Now, I don't think this necessarily makes you a bad person, or I'm not impugning you for this in any way. But I will say that it's worth knowing, I guess. Also, someone's saying that Flamenco is in the callers. This dude's been like stalking me and trying to dox me for months, so don't bring him in.
Okay. Now I do want to reply one more thing before we get into like callers and super chat. Fuck. Wait, what did you just say again? Sorry, I'm slightly losing my train of thought. Can you repeat what you just said, like prior to flamenco?
Oh yeah, that there is a general push towards a particular thought that your content may be contributing to. I've been seeing a very big trend in like shitting on female Twitch streamers lately that I think is kind of a problem. And so whenever you go after like Pokimane or any particular female streamer, whether you intend to or not, you're inevitably going to end up contributing to that unless you specifically speak out against that particular content.
But I feel, and I understand, and I feel like maybe potentially like some people who are watching my video might like eventually become like right or become problematic, but that you do realize that like that could apply to almost anything. Like someone watching my video could become a school shooter one day, someone watching my video could do great things for the world in the future. Someone watching my video could do a myriad of things, and it doesn't mean that my video is contributing to it, or if it does, it doesn't mean like, do I have to like, have a little disclaimer at the beginning of every video, like listing everything I disavow, like word for word, like
I think that's a little bit. I think you're taking it a little bit further than it really needs to be. Like with me and the tankies in my community, I just sort of called them dumb.
this further than it needs. Like, I think you're taking like the concept of the pipeline as further as it needs to be, and that's why I was trying to like parallel it with other things, because like I don't really think it's extremely common for someone to watch my video reading tweets and then to go down this pipeline. I think it's a very, very slim chance. Maybe not as slim as like becoming a school shooter, because that's like extremely, extremely slim. But like it's still like super, super slim, and I don't think like I personally contribute to that at all. I think if that was going to happen, it was going to happen regardless of them watching my content or not.
I mean, the point is that you contribute to it. I'm not saying that you need to like make any huge changes. I mean, if I go into the comments of your videos, do you think I'm going to find like on Pokemon or whatever, I'm going to find anything saying like, oh, these fucking Twitch thoughts, so on and so on and so on?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I think they had that thought prior to watching my video. I don't think my video caused that thought. I think they had that thought prior to making my video.
Don't you think you have some sort of responsibility not to either, one, attract those types of people or even try to discourage that type of behavior as a creator?
I do discourage that type of behavior, as I said in my comments, and I make my opinion clear, but I can't control everything, you know? Like,
I mean, no one can control their audience, but
people of all different opinions are going to watch my content, and it's just...
Of course,
like,
people of all sorts of different opinions watch my content as well, but regardless of that, if you seem to have a trend of attracting a particular group of people, don't you think that's, like, worth taking into account?
I have a trend of attracting, like, very nice people, too, very liberal people. I have a trend of attracting a lot of different people. Like, the misogynistic people aren't, like, the only people I tend to attract with my videos.
I mean, I imagine you cover a lot of other topics, right?
Yeah.
But if you do a video on
even
some,
on
like...
that video, like, someone who isn't misogynistic can watch the Lindy video and disagree with, like, her throwing her cat and like the video, but not necessarily think she's, like, a...
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with her throwing her cat, but we can go back to the case that I gave an example of. If I found out that whenever I found out I was sort of harboring a community of a bunch of like tankies and shit, I went out of my way to try to get them out of my community. I changed my content a little bit to not like appeal to them. If you've got a bunch of people from that are like misogynists and whatnot and reactionaries that are following you and think that you're making good points and they're watching your videos and they're talking about how Twitch thoughts are bad in the comments, then it's probably worth calling that out, right? If you don't want that type of behavior in your community.
I mean, I've expressed my personal opinion that I'm not for those misogynistic stuff, and like in my videos, I just read other people's tweets. I don't really know how I can change that unless I just like remove all tweets that are misogynistic in nature. But the whole point of my videos is to show what everybody is saying, including sometimes misogynistic stuff, and I make it a point to say that like it's not something I agree with, but that's what people are saying, and I'm going to showcase it because that's like the whole point of my channel. If I stop showcasing every opinion from every side, that kind of like defeats the purpose of my channel. Not to say that my purpose is to show misogynistic comments in particular, but it's to show everybody's opinion regardless of what side. And it's not like because I show that opinion, everyone agrees with it. In every one of my videos, I have 2 or more opposing opinions. So literally, there's almost nobody who's going to watch my video and agree with 100% of the comments I read out. It's pretty much impossible.
Well,
so there's going to be people who,
So this is where you would have to...
wide variety in my comment section. Because this is the nature of my content.
Sure, so this is why you would have to probably like enter more commentary, right? So if you're just going on there and you're reading tweets with minimal commentary, as you said before, and people are coming out of it thinking that you maybe agree with one of these things, that they feel comfortable commenting that kind of stuff and being part of your community while having that kind of take, then maybe you need to insert your own opinion on these things a little bit more often. Like be like, hey, I think this is stupid because this, and this. That's what I do. I show the entire arguments to the people that I argue with on stream. I respond to videos, right? And I pause it every few minutes to respond to a particular argument. So if I'm doing that, my audience sees the argument I'm arguing against, but I don't really get any people in my comments unless they're hate comments who agree with the opposition.
For me as a content creator, I'm in a relatively unique position because no one ever ends up agreeing with me 100% at the end of the videos, and I don't try to make people agree with me. Like typically with like YouTubers and commentators, they like share their opinion, and you know the fan base who supports them pretty much agrees with their opinion almost all the time. But for me, I always like share different opinions and then say, what are your thoughts in the comment section below? And there's been many videos where I've actually said an opinion, and majority of the comments, like the top comments, are people disagreeing with me, but they still enjoy the content because I like share stuff objectively. Objectively, what I mean by that is just like sharing what other people say without like trying to like, manipulate or persuade anyone to have a different opinion, or trying to like shape the opinion in a different way. So yeah, like there's people who disagree with me, there's people who's gonna agree with me.
All right.
I don't really it's just kind of like a free for all in that way.
I mean, if you have like
right?
But if it's a trend in your community, then it's probably a problem that you need to take care of, right?
There's a trend of every opinion, though. Like, there's the trend of misogyny within my community. There's also equally a trend of people who, have opinions I do agree with. It's like, it's not like an overwhelming majority of misogynistic comments. It's like, maybe like 10% are misogynist, another 10% are feminist, another 10% are this, that. It's like completely varied. And I have said in my videos that like I personally don't agree with like misogynist comments and the misogynistic
okay,
stuff,
let's talk about this. So there's a couple things I want to address real quick. Real quick, I kind of feel like I have to do this. You mentioned Flamenco earlier, how he was like trying to dox or whatever. I will say this: Flamenco's told me that he has never doxed any person. I'm just reading his defense. Chat can believe whoever they want to believe, but I feel like since you said that, I should read his response. That being said, I won't bring him on the stream because you requested that, and I'm the host, and I want to be fair to you. So
yeah, no, you can go onto the Breadtube Kiwi Farms threads now, and you can see him like he's been stalking me for like a year, and like actively working with people trying to find my address and stuff.
He wrote, I to this day have never doxed a single person. I even reached out to one of the mods that had his private info in plain sight, so he didn't get doxed. So that's just his words. Chat can believe who they want to believe. Also, since this conversation is kind of going in circles, I want to talk about, you said the Zach James video on Keemstar where he says Keemstar works with the alt-right. You said that was a good video, correct?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I will defend every claim that I made there. I assume you guys are familiar with the Killstream guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are mostly Nazis, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I disagree with
I mean,
that,
have you? Hold on. Can we talk? Let's go down the list of people that I've seen appear on, or that are part of the Killstream. Do you want to talk about Rand?
Well, yeah, but like, he's not even on there anymore, right?
He goes
like,
on there all the time.
I don't know anything about Rand.
For, another show or whatever, but no, I mean, to me, like the show is literally, it's just like it is definitely a right-wing show. I'm not going to disagree with you there. It's a variety show. They talk about drama, they talk about politics or whatever and stuff like that.
I mean, last time I watched the Kill stream, most recently, a buddy of mine, YouTuber named Vosh, went on there, and you had one guy, Rand, who was calling him a Jew and the N-word over and over again. Then you had the Ralph retort, Ethan, who would just not say the Holocaust happened the way that history defines it. He wouldn't agree on the 6 million Jews number. You got Flamenco, who goes on Kiwi Farms to dox like left tubers and stuff like that, and also couldn't agree that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. Who else goes on there? I don't remember any other names. Like, if you want to list a person, I can probably find some shit that they've done. I mean, like, this is a pretty well-known, notoriously fucked up podcast, The Kill Stream.
I don't know. They bring a lot of crazy people on the show. It's a gauntlet. It's no moderation. That's kind of the nature of the show. Anyway, I'm not gonna defend them for their honor, something like that. I have no reason to, but yeah. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, the kill stream. Keemstar. Yeah. So you think Keemstar is alt-right by association? Is that the claim?
I don't know what Keemstar's political opinions are, but I think he's probably pretty fucking right. Not right.
I see him as like a boomer conservative. Like,
no,
really?
No. I've seen the streams that guy goes on to and the people that he associates with are pretty much more than
because I feel like Keemstar's the type of guy that he votes for Donald Trump because he liked The Apprentice. You know what I mean? Like, he's not that invested into the policies. He's just like a fucking boomer conservative. He's also a natural contrarian online. So I would say generally most people, at least in our space on the internet, are liberal, so he's gonna pick conservative. You know what I mean? I could be totally wrong on this. That's just kind of the vibes I get from him.
I think it doesn't matter what Keemstar's political affiliation is because he doesn't really like share or push his political ideologies ever in his content at all online.
I mean, it probably matters. I'm a consequentialist as well. I assume that's what you're getting at here. I'm a consequentialist. I think the outcomes of someone's actions matter more than their intentions do. However, I do think when it comes to someone like Keemstar, who has done many terrible things and does have many terrible outcomes from his actions, I think it is worth looking at his beliefs and his intentions and the type of person that he is. I mean, like...
Oh, 100%, but that can be, like, separated from politics. Like, you can be a fucked up person and be on any side of the political spectrum.
Isn't the most popular...
Politics is irrelevant.
Isn't the most popular clip of Keemstar him calling someone the N-word?
Ah, come on! It was like 10 years ago.
I know it was a long time ago, but like that's
what gamer moment, you know.
But that's like what he's known for, though. I totally understand. I totally understand that bringing up old clips of people is like bad. But if that's like what you're known for, overwhelmingly, and trust me, everybody knows the Alex is a stupid N-word comment.
Everyone's
that's like
seen the clip,
meme.
but I don't think that's what he's known for. I think there's a difference there, right?
No, here's what I think.
That's like saying PewDiePie's known for saying the N-word despite him being a gaming YouTuber with 100 million subs or whatever.
Yeah, but that happened well into his career. The Keemstar N-word thing happened way before Drama Alert, and is like what he was known for a long time.
This is how I personally interpret it, and obviously this is all speculation. Everything we're saying about like Keem's political ideology is basically
we don't know
because he hasn't said enough. But like someone called him I think like an Italian slur, and he got like heated and said the N-word. Obviously, disagree with that. Obviously, but like Keemstar's very hot-headed, and he'll just fucking say stuff and be mad on the spot.
By the way, we're no fans of Keemstar on this show.
Yeah,
we're not like up his ass.
Exactly. Because what I was about to say is,
we've had plenty of fights with him on the air.
Yep. Because what I was gonna say is that like out of anger, he like straight up called me an autistic retard. So like he's hot-headed, and I think that's what I think. Him saying the N-word in that case is more attributed to his hot-headed nature than his political.
He's a gamer, right?
But that's just me. That's just how I interpret it.
I don't know.
Talking to Keemstar and kind of like knowing him.
Well, so for one, I'm sorry he called you that. It sounds like a pretty big dick move, or not small dick move. I don't know, pretty dick move. No, so I think it's worth looking at Keemstar's actual things that he says and what he advocates for, what the people that he engages with, on top of the fact that he's just sort of like a hot-headed asshole. And I mean, like, he's just had like a long trend of pretty fucking strange shit. I mean, there was that thing a year ago when he went on to the Trainwrecks podcast, and they were talking about the Christchurch shooting. And in the manifesto from the Christchurch shooter, he talked about how like the certain ideologies that he followed, the certain figures that he followed that pushed him where he went politically, and Keemstar just refused to talk about it, saying, I'm not okay with talking about it. I'm not okay with talking about this is what he wanted. This is what he wanted. And then just like pussied out and left. Like he couldn't not defend the Christchurch shooter. He wasn't down to be there while the Christchurch shooter was being insulted for his political views. It just seems kind of weird.
No, what he's saying there is like basically like he was hearing about this. Like it was a big story for a while prior to him going on, and like he didn't want to talk about it, and because it was just everywhere. I don't know. I can't really. He runs a trauma channel though. I don't like Keemstar. I don't really want to like defend him, but I don't think that's like. I don't think he was afraid to defend the Christchurch shooter. I just think he was tired of hearing about it because it's like tragic, and he was just like. He just didn't want to hear about that shit. That's what I think it was.
I remember I was there watching it live when it happened. He was there saying he was literally there saying he doesn't. I think his excuse was that people didn't know if it was his manifesto yet, but at that point it had been basically confirmed. And then he claimed, nope, this is what the shooter wanted. This is what the shooter wanted, which is basically anyone who agrees with these people. Well, no, but you never hear this about like some fucking like Muslim terrorist shooter. No one ever says that it's this is against the wish of the victims, or this is what the terrorist wanted for us to talk about. If it's like some fucking Muslim terrorist, right?
No. What the Christchurch shooter wanted was to like kind of pin the blame of the cause of the shooting to be like on PewDiePie and other like creators and stuff.
No, he wanted the blame to be put on the brown people. He used the subscribe to PewDiePie thing to get attention. He wanted one, he wanted to mainstream. He wanted to, he talked about his intentions in the manifesto. I read it on stream. He didn't want to just get attention for himself. His plan was to, one, get people talking about it so that he could mainstream the idea of the Great Replacement and white genocide. Two, he hoped that white people would rise up and kill off all the brown people and all of the like lib people pushing it, and then he hoped that one day he'd be released from prison by like the great white ethno state whenever they establish power, and thank him for making them realize that was his goal.
And most people don't know that, so don't you think by talking about the Christchurch shooting, aren't you like indirectly spreading that ideology by bringing attention to those that was his intention?
No, you cover it in a way that goes against the arguments that the Christchurch shooter was making, and you debunk his arguments.
Wait, why would you even bring up the arguments though? Because if you bring up the arguments, then people are going to think about the arguments, and then what?
Because a mass shooter
and then.
Because the person who did the largest terrorist attack in New Zealand history wrote a manifesto and put his reasoning for why he committed the terrorist attack on the internet. Of course it's going to get around. If you don't cover it and argue against his points, then you're going to end up like reinforcing his beliefs.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
you're sharing his beliefs indirectly.
His beliefs are already around everywhere.
Yeah, he's saying like he's not just talking about it without challenging it. He's saying you talk about it and you challenge it. That's what he's saying.
You have to. Like when he makes claims like brown people are committing more crime than white people, you can cover what the manifesto said and debunk his arguments. That's how I covered it. That's what I did.
I think I think the best way to avoid that is just not bring up the manifesto at all, but
I mean, it's going to go around anyway. You just end up letting people see it and then reading it and thinking, oh, this is true, completely unchallenged. I love the marketplace of ideas. I love debates.
The news of the shooting going around is going to get around, but the manifesto specifically and people reading it, I feel like only people who are extremely political would even get to the stage where they would read it.
Not really. I think anybody who's interested in anyone who's morbidly curious and heard about the shooting might see it. Just like the people who are morbidly curious and looked up the footage of the shooting.
Anyway, basically, I'm just trying to say that I think that was Keemstar's point when he said he didn't want to talk about it because he didn't want to bring attention to it. That's how I took from it. I don't know. I don't know Keemstar's intentions, but that's what I thought, man.
I have a couple YouTubers in the callers that want to hop in if you're okay with that, Zen. We're not going to make this like a fucking stomping ground or like we'll mute ourselves if you're down with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. I'm going to bring Nick first, and then I think Edwin wanted to talk because he was pretty vocal in the chat. Nick Diorio, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? I wasn't aware this was like an interview. Like, is this the same guy?
I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like marketing this as like a debate. I was just like, let's just talk to him.
No, I know, but I feel like the stream that we're watching right now is like incredibly different than the stream that Xander Hall, nice to meet you, that you were having like the other day. Like I see you were talking about like Bowblax and Leafy in the same sentence. You're like, these fucking guys, like these are the guys you got to look out for. And now you come on here and you're like, well, okay, Bowblax, all right, it's not that bad. Or like, well, okay, I'm not really familiar with the commentary community. Well, okay, I see a lot of Bowblax videos. You've covered females. Like,
I feel like every claim that I made. I feel like every claim that I made in my video, I've stood by entirely in this stream.
No, I know. I'm saying, but you've been like incredibly aggressive, and I think you've stood by them by walking them back ever so slightly.
Well, I haven't walked back a single claim. I'm just being polite and a call.
So you think that you have to watch Bowblax because he's going to radicalize his audience?
No, I said keep an eye on the commentary community. I think they're going to be the next version of the Skeptic community, like back in the days of 2016.
Well, I can assure you, most of the commentators are not fans of the Skeptic community.
That was not part of my argument at all. Back in 2016, the argument that I was making, or the comparison that I was making, was back in 2016, there were a shit ton of YouTubers who were like left-leaning or center-leaning who made content that wasn't necessarily political, but they would make these videos talking about how these crazy people, these SJWs, blah, 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 are freaking out. And then...
well, in a certain way, like, what are your stances on Gamergate?
What are my stances on Gamergate?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really fucking complicated. I think most of it was kind of reactionary, but
Gamergate discussion in 2020. No way.
Yeah, I don't want to. Well,
you said Sargon of the Con.
Wait. So
we have to bring up
I don't want to
Sargon's
talk about
baby.
Gamergate.
So
All right, okay, we can talk
You-
about Gamergate. That's fine. So there was the Skeptic community. They pushed themselves as being like left wing or like classical left wing against these like crazy SJWs and whatnot. And now many of them nowadays, since the actual like lefties in the commentary community that weren't really just pushing right wing rhetoric have like stopped doing that. People like Sargon and whatnot have stuck behind, and now they're like. I'm pretty sure Sargon's like literally like a white nationalist now. He was talking about in a debate with Vosh how he wants England to be like a majority white English. You know, like that's pretty right wing.
Well, it really does depend on the politician. In regards to the skeptics, most of them have either like radically changed their political ideology, like guys like Mundane That, or guys like Matt's going like one way, and Andy Warski is going the complete opposite way.
Comparing-
so
Isn't Andy Warski in prison or some shit?
No, Andy's friend is in prison.
Okay. I just remember the clip coming out that was like, I just remember that one clip coming out where he's screaming, "Get back! Get back!"
The Stay Back stream. That was
Stay back.
The guy on is it. But here's the deal. I think our biggest points where we would disagree, you and me, are going to be. I think it's you feel that people are responsible for the audience. I'm assuming, right?
I think you probably have some level of responsibility for the audience you cultivate.
See, now if I sit here and I go, all right, wait a minute. So if I make a video that's not political in nature, I make a video on Ethan Klein, because this one that pops up where you'll get a couple anti-Semitic comments no matter what you say. Right. If I make a video on him, someone could watch a different video who could then watch a different video. And suddenly the YouTube algorithm takes you down a rabbit hole. And now you're watching Mouthy Buddha's Jewish question video from 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I could totally say like that's possible. But like, at what point do I why am I responsible for 6 degrees of separation? Like when I make my videos, I have a disclaimer for harassment because that's a significantly more like a possible scenario. Someone could watch my video and go, "Oh, fuck you, Pokimane," and stuff like that. I feel like that's something I need to immediately curb. I don't think my audience comment section could potentially be radicalized if they watch all these other YouTubers. Like, there's so many different variables at play here. Why is this my problem?
Yeah, it's a complicated topic to talk about. So I talk to a lot of people who could be considered like the beginning of the rabbit hole, who are many degrees of separation away from a particular group. I mean, I'm friends with people like Chris Raygun and Shuonhead who make content or made content that could possibly go back to
Chris Raygun on Niche channel.
Sorry, what?
Fuck Chris Raygun. Never mind.
I don't know about any drama we've had with him, but regardless of what your opinions are on him, back in the day, his content definitely could lead towards that kind of area. I mean, he was buddies with Sargon and all of those people, right? And I'm friends, or at least like associates with like Shuonhead and Chris. I don't think they're bad people or anything. I just call out the figures that I think push overtly right-wing content. I'd prefer we had a platform where you guys can... Wait, really quick. Wait, let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish, guys.
I'm sorry.
My ideal dream is that we have a platform here on YouTube where you guys can make the exact content that you're making now, and there's no negative outcomes from it whatsoever. That's why I spend most of the time on my platform calling out people who make overtly far-right, harmful content. However, in our current political climate, the content that you guys make can lead people in that direction. That's why I made a video about it. I much prefer talking to you guys in good faith on the stream so you guys are aware of this issue, rather than like calling you out how I would like, I don't know, PragerU or like Stefan Molyneux, RIP, or any of those figures.
But you sound like you're giving me, like, these are talking points that if you said them to No Bullshit, like, you know, Brooks Heatherly, he makes the channel No Bullshit, I would totally 100% like go, all right, you know what, maybe that's possible. Are you familiar with him?
I mean, I think No Bullshit's like tongue would fall out of his mouth and he would drool for a little bit, but I don't think he's very capable of engaging in a conversation. But I don't know.
I had that debate too, but okay. I'm just saying, like, that guy makes videos about the show Arthur, like pushing. Like, there was a marriage scene between two.
Yeah, the gay rat wedding. Yeah.
A radical, like, pro-leftist, trans, like, this whole fucking thing over, like, that stuff. Yeah, I can understand that could lead to a rabbit hole. But like, if you're saying Bowblax's content isn't that bad, like, if you're aware that this isn't like a political thing, why is it our, like, I still don't understand how it's our responsibility.
Well, do you remember?
It sounds like you're
I'm actually curious. I'm glad you brought up No Bullshit. Do you remember the content No Bullshit made back in like 2016?
Yeah, he was the Brooks Heatherly channel who covered movies and stuff
No,
like that.
before that, before the
open Jewish comments.
No, but before that, back when he was still doing No Bullshit, I watched his videos back then. I was I guess you could say, a fan of his content. The way that he made his arguments back then was the SJWs trying to insert piece of media political and so on. It was nothing like, it didn't come off as the way it does now. Nowadays, No Bullshit's gone full. His channel's dying. He's not going to exist online very much longer, I don't think. But more recently, he went into like I think he said something along. I think JXC made a video where it was like, No Bullshit said, I'm cool with them as well. They're pretty cool. Made a video that was saying there's like a suspicious amount of female characters in Black Panther.
We did that.
I remember seeing that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I like that a lot. I watched Jay's video on that. But that was the content that he makes now. But back in the day, he made sort of this supposedly apolitical, just calling out the crazy SJWs type content. And that's what I worry about. I worry about a repeat of history.
I don't think that's me at all, though.
And then he's going the other way with that.
Okay. So you say that people like Chris Reagan and No Bullshit are the beginning of the pipeline, right? And you would also say
No Bullshit nowadays.
Let's take No
Bullshit
Bullshit out of the conversation.
Yeah.
He called himself a stepping stone for the alt-right, Bowblax. We're not going to win that argument.
Let's get back to the what I was saying. So basically, you're saying that, like, you said specifically Chris Reagan would be like the beginning of the pipeline, right?
Like 2016 Chris Reagan, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. So you're saying like. And you're saying I'm in the pipeline, right? So I would be at the beginning of the pipeline if you're being the most generous you could be.
I don't even say you would be part of the pipeline. Well, I should clarify. I don't even know if you'd be part of the pipeline, because where it begins and ends is arbitrary, right?
Okay.
If there's just like a general push towards a certain direction online, I don't know if it's fair to say that you're like part of the pipeline. I think you kind of contribute to a push towards it, though.
But are you saying that like me versus 2016 Chris Reagan are kind of like me currently versus 2016 Reagan is like on equal level? Are you saying
nowhere close. No, I'd say that you were like, if there's like a pipeline, you're like maybe part of the water leading towards the pipeline, if anything. I don't know if you're comparable to Chris.
Wait, then why did you say to watch out for channels like me, Leafy, and stuff like that?
Because you still contribute to it. Because you still contribute to it.
I don't think I contribute to it, especially like even compared to Leafy.
But
I think Leafy would theoretically contribute.
Can I get if your baseline of like what this pipeline could be is 2016 commentary where they're going after the SJWs, I can't imagine how you're drawing a parallel to Bowblax reading a tweet where he called someone a thought. Like
back in 2016. So back in 2016, it was about like feminists and these crazy whatever the fuck SJWs trying to ruin gaming or whatever. That was usually, or some kind of media, movies, things like that, right? And it never came off as overtly political or anything. But nowadays there seems to be a repeat of this, but instead it's like Twitch thoughts and SJWs trying to ruin YouTube and Twitch, right? Like they're trying to censor content creators. They're trying to
these
do whatever to Twitch.
Trying to censor content creators. I mean, you're talking to Bowblax right now, and Pokemon.
Yeah, he got his video taken down by Bowblax.
Copyright strike on him.
Yeah, it was a shitty thing to do, but I don't think it's like the SJWs or like the Twitch
no, but
trying
we don't
to censor
either. That's why we're not making that
I never made that. I'm never making that.
Well, even if that's not what you're saying, that's what people are coming out of your videos thinking and talking about in the comments.
Not
what? But like again, that, and then I ask you, like, how is that my responsibility? If I lay out all my arguments in a specific matter, and it's clear that's not my intention to a vast 99% of my audience, and some morons in the comment section who've come in with their preconceived notions and things that they're like attached to, and they walk away going, these fucking females, dude, all they are tits and ass. Like, that's not me, dog. That's what they've come to.
If it's only like 0.1% or 1% or 2 or even 5% of your audience that are coming out of that doing it, that's fine. I go into my comments and I see all sorts of dumb shit in my comments, and it's a fairly small amount. I do my best to call it out, but if it's only a small amount, then you're probably fine. But what I'm saying is a massive push, a massive movement that's like saying that like Twitch is falling apart because the SJWs are ruining it, or like the Twitch mods are too busy jacking off to female Twitch streamers to enforce their TOS like equally or whatever. Like I just see this massive push towards it. I think you guys contribute to it.
We don't agree with that like statement. Like
if you don't agree with it, then why not call it out? Or why not make a larger effort to call it out?
In my video, every time I make a video on PewDiePie, do I need to read the Christchurch Manifesto? Is there like a natural number of videos I can make on women before?
If you're doing a video, I don't know what kind of content you make, but let's say you're doing a video on like Pokimane, and you see a bunch of people talking about how Pokimane's like a dumb thought, sucking her simps dry, blah blah blah. Why not like call them out for being fucking retards and acting weird?
So you want me to like go in my comment section and like debate every single person who calls them out?
No, like when you make a video, you can make fun of that thought process. Like you can integrate it into your content. It's like a little funny bit, you know? That's what I do.
Like that doesn't. That like you want me to go off topic and put like a little like a happy disclaimer so it doesn't come off like
it's not a disclaimer and it's not off topic. This is just a hyper specific example of what you could do. Like there's tons of ways that you could do this and make it fit, and it doesn't even have to be that much effort. I mean, if you have an issue with this particular line of thought, I don't see how it'd be a big deal.
So
I mean, I'm sure there are creators who've used their body for attention. I'm sure there are I don't think that's necessarily Pokimane. I don't think that's necessarily her content.
Yeah, well, if you disagree with people saying that Pokimane is like a Twitch thought, using her cuteness and her body for attention, then why not call that out and talk about how fucking stupid those people are?
Because that's not the topic of my video. I'm talking about like copyright strikes. Like again, you're not familiar with my content. I'm like an analytical start to finish. This is what happened. Creative.
Well, no, you make a good point because like if someone's talking about like Pokimane copyright striking, just because I talk about Pokimane, do I also have to get into detail about like people's opinion on her looks, even though the video has nothing to do with her looks?
When you're talking about a figure like Pokimane, who's a massive public figure, and a lot of the talk happening around her right now is how she's like a like Twitch or thought who uses her looks to blah 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 her audience. If you talk about how bad Pokimane is, you're naturally going to have those people coming into your audience. If you want to avoid cultivating that kind of if you want to avoid cultivating that opinion, which I assume you do because you don't like it.
No. That's the point. What I'm trying to tell you, like I don't care what my audience says. If they want to go to jump in my thing, I'm not going to censor them. If they want to go to the right opinion, I'm sure they're going to get exactly what you're asking for, because there are liberal creators, there are conservative creators, there are creators who try to be as apolitical as humanly fucking possible. Like me, I'm trying to avoid harassment. I'm trying to avoid people spamming comments under there. If I start like putting disclaimers out for every possible negative fucking thing, I'm not going to have enough room in my description to put my fucking Twitter line. Like it's like
I was under the assumption that you probably wanted to discourage those behaviors within your audience.
No. I just want to be able to post my videos and then go on with my day.
Okay, I guess we have like different views of how we consider our responsibilities on YouTube. Like I think that as a public figure, I have some kind of responsibility to try to make sure my audience behaves in a something way. I mean, it's like
I get that, but like if I do that and I go out and I say I don't like this, or I like dog whistle a little joke in there to like go, I don't agree with that. That's me talking about it. That's me addressing it. That's me like taking responsibility in some manner, and I don't feel like that's my place.
Okay. I mean, like, like going back as far as like when I was in school, if you act out, if you're wearing your school uniform and you act like a dick out in public, you can get in trouble with your school for it. I just feel like the way you represent the way your fans represent you. Actually, it's simple as this: your fans and what they do typically represent some bit of the content creator.
And I'm the guy who defends those creators.
I would agree with.
I'm the guy who comes out and goes, that's not what he said. That's not what he did. If a couple bad fans go out there and say some stupid shit, that's not a reaction to something I said.
I mean,
all right,
maybe not. But if they're behaving in this way in mass, then
it's inherently toxic.
I'm not talking about just YouTube comments. I'm talking about the overall kind of cultural push that we're seeing. I mean,
but dude, I'm not trying to save the right or the left. I'm not trying to bring America into the best possible election cycle. I'm trying to talk about e-celebrities and stupid internet drama. Like this isn't like even my job. This isn't my livelihood. This is a hobby on the side, and I want to talk about shit that makes me laugh. I'm not putting this entire, like the world is not on my shoulders, dog.
I mean, how big is your channel?
37,000 subs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you have a pretty large platform. I feel like for me, I've got 40, I'm about to hit 41K subs. I feel like with the platform and the audience that I have like a responsibility inherently to try to like make the world a better place, I guess. I mean, that's my goal.
I mean, it's good for you, and I'm not like discouraging you from doing that. I think if someone wants to go out and make the world a better place, that's totally fine. But do you think it's a little like kind of weird to put that on everybody else? Like, Bowblax, are you out here trying to make the world a better place? Because then I would say he has an argument.
I feel like Bowblax is trying to make the platform a better place, right? When you're trying to hold particular figures accountable whenever there's drama happening. Don't you give your takes on like who you think is right and wrong in drama?
Yeah, but so basically, like with me, my goal is to basically make my opinion crystal clear, and then also showcase everyone else's opinions and give everyone a voice, whether it's a side I agree with or not agree with. That also includes, like, I guess people who would have more misogynistic takes. I basically like share every side of the opinion, and I make my opinion crystal clear, and people don't have to agree with it or disagree with it. And I think my comment section actually does reflect that, because there's a wide variety of opinions, both ones that would be considered right-leaning and some that would be considered left-leaning, and some that are like apolitical, just having like an opinion on whatever's going on. Literally, I just think I'm like an open platform to see any different type of opinion.
I want to pick your brain.
All I can do is make my
question?
opinion crystal clear, and that's what I try to do. And if I'm coming off as a misogynist, then like I want to fix that. But as for what my viewers think or whatever, that's up to them, and that's their own volition.
I don't know.
Can I ask you one
just
question? I just want to pick your brain for a second.
no problem. Yeah.
So like, what would you find is a more like a better scenario? A platform where it's all uniform and that like people aren't harassing people, racists are all gone, and it's a nice, happy place? Or would you be more happy in a free speech environment?
I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. I think you can absolutely have a free speech environment where creators disincentivize or try to speak out against the people in their community that engage in behavior they don't like. Like, you've got racists in your community and you say, hey, fuck off, I don't like racists in my community. It's not censoring them, it's just telling them to go somewhere else. I just generally want to make the platform like a better place. I remember back in the old days, back in like 2012, back when there wasn't really drama on YouTube. Like, it wasn't there wasn't really as much drama going on as back in the day, and I miss those days. But nowadays, you've got some fucking makeup guru streamer getting canceled. You got, like, I don't know, fucking Onision grooming children or some shit. You got Shane Dawson fucking his cat. I don't know. Like, it's just, I just generally want to move the platform into a more positive place, and the world as a whole.
And that's and that's why you have an issue with drama channels, because we enjoy the
not
drama.
necessarily. I think drama channels have a lot of power and can be a force for good. I even said this in my video. I think someone like Leafy, who I guess is kind of a drama channel now, has like an immense amount of power behind him to go after those that definitely deserve it and cause a quantifiable harm to YouTube and to the world as like a whole. Like, people like Onision, obviously, is like the go-to, right? I know he's covered Onision before, but that was a long time ago. Or even so...
A couple times.
Yeah, or you can even go further to like... oh, God, I brought this up in my video. There's like this really weird... I think Muda did a video on this. Monkeygate. There's like this whole community of people on YouTube that go into videos of baby monkeys and like talk in detail in the comments how they want to like slaughter and murder the baby monkeys. I think just like going after groups like that and trying to maybe make them feel a little more... like they don't have any camaraderie with you, may be a good idea. Just makes the platform better, in my opinion. I'm not in favor of censorship or anything, just like calling them out in the free marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, this is the idea of like we should be fighting pedophiles, racists, like rapists, and all this stuff, and that's what we should focus our content on, not like who backstabbed who in the makeup industry and stuff like that. That's where you kind of lie.
Yeah, I think it's overall kind of... like, I mean, you can cover that kind of shit and it's fine. I just generally think that when there are topics you discuss that have some sort of political interlocutors circling around it, talking about this particular thing, it may be responsible to make it clear what your opinion is on it and what opinions you don't like and are not okay with on these topics. And if you do that and still some shit happens, I'll probably be fine with it, because clearly you're making an effort not to encourage certain behaviors.
All right. I think we've ran this specific conversation good. Nick, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, there's one last YouTuber that wanted to come on. We're trying to go through this quickly because I don't want to keep you here all night or whatever, but he did say he has a couple points, and this is Edwin's Generations. You ever heard of him?
No, I haven't, no.
Yeah, he does some good videos. We'll bring him in. Yo, Edwin, you said you had a couple points you want to bring up?
Oh, yeah. What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
So I just want to say, get a little comment out the way. I gotta say, I've never heard someone say brown people as much as you, which, you know, it's not an issue. I don't have to take issue with it as a brown person. I just found it unique. And I gotta say, before this show came up, I did watch about 20 minutes out of like a 40-minute clip from your Twitch. So I do remember some of it. And even in this stream, you used the R word, you know, and but in your clip, you called out Leafy for calling someone an R word who was R word. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he actually called somebody who is like mentally disabled the R word. Yeah, I'm probably not cool with that.
Right, but Leafy did not know at the time, and you did it to someone in your chat, and you apparently just use it regularly. So we could go on about this whole like
Wait, I
conversation.
didn't impugn Leafy for it. I said he did that and he got a lot of shit for it. I was explaining Leafy's story and how he like stopped making content. Like I think Leafy made like a mistake. Like I remember back when that happened, I was actually a fan of Leafy back then. I was like, oh, well, I mean, for one, I didn't care at all, but for two, I was like, okay, he made a mistake, even if it's that bad, you know. I wasn't like impugning Leafy for that.
You do see how using this word. I mean, you said in the video ableism, so I thought that's why I got that stuck with me. But
oh no, so I get called. My chat reads at me so hard when I say the R word. Sometimes I do it anyway because it's fun to say. But I obviously wouldn't say that to somebody like knowingly if they have any type of mental condition, because it's probably bad. And also there are behaviors that I've seen, even on the left, that are explicitly like full on, like the idea that like autistic people are mentally children or incapable of being functioning like stuff like that.
Like that to me, and it was pretty offensive.
What did he say?
He said basically arguing with me is like arguing with a 4th grader, and I'm really slow to talk to. I'm like too slow to argue with.
Well, was that because of your autism, or was it just because he didn't like what you were saying?
I mean, it was after our first debate. You said you listened
I will
to, like,
say,
I didn't think I was slow.
Oh, it's been a while. I watched it when it came out. That was like months ago, wasn't it?
I'll say to back up Bowblax, you know, I see a lot of, you know, ableism in chats like Destiny's or whatever, or even on Twitter or something, they'll be like, yeah, Bowblax really living up to his bio, you know, referencing his bio.
Yeah, because I say I'm autistic.
Talks about his autism or whatever. It's just kind of interesting to me. I don't know.
Well, hey, Bowblax, listen, if you ever want to come hang out in my community or anything, you will not get impugned in any way for any ableist bullshit. We're real nice here. We're very accepting.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that.
I do say the R word from time to time, but I never use it in a way it's like meant to impugn anyone.
I
of
say
any
it all the
particular
time.
thing,
Don't you think it could be dangerous?
I'm fine with people using the R word, and as long as it's not like. Actually, I'm fine with people using it generally. It doesn't bother me.
I think you're just pointing out like a point of hypocrisy, right? You know,
right? Yeah, I was kind of thinking like, you know, I mean, Bowblax reading out tweets also know that could be dangerous. His viewers could be leaning towards a direction. Well, your viewers could be leaning towards it's okay to call everyone a retard.
No, I actually call out like blatant ableism in my audience quite often. Like I have to be very careful to sort of like if I see my audience leaning in a particular direction too much, I'll stop doing a certain thing that I'm doing and call it out.
Okay, that's it. So you make rules for yourself. Now, another thing that I was thinking about was
wait, was that me being like hypocritical?
Well, it comes off that way.
Well, no, I encourage people to do the same thing that I do, where they can do certain things, whatever they want to do, but if they see that their actions are leading their audience in a certain way and they're causing a negative impact, then they should change up their behavior to try and make things better. That's what I do. If I notice that people are getting like overtly ableist and saying autistic people are bad or something in my community, then I'm going to stop saying the R word and say, hey, that's not okay, and try to change the behavior, the direction that my audience is leading.
Look, and it's just like the issue of the way, for me, the way you kind of come off is kind of like, because I've seen people that are really pushing this narrative, right? Like, why aren't you guys freaking out that people are saying, what was he said earlier? Something about like SJWs are ruining Twitch. You know, people say that kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. Twitch is falling apart because of SJWs, whatever. So, you know, I think that when people are freaking out about that and they make it so extreme, like, oh my God, this whole Pokemon thing recently, right? Like, it leads to this extreme simping. It's like, for someone like me, I'm not really political. I'm not a political YouTuber. I like to see myself as, I do want to make the world a better place. Maybe Nicholas doesn't, but you know, but I see this kind of rhetoric and I'm like, okay, but it cringes me out because a 2 out of 10 tweet and all this stuff, it's like, it's trolling. It's like, it's not that deep. And we put our energy into this when we could be putting our energy into baby monkeys, people that kill baby monkeys, right?
Wait, I mean, what 2 out of 10 tweet?
The whole
Keemstar one.
The Keemstar one on Pokemon. Oh, that's probably just Keemstar being an asshole. I don't know. I don't really care all that much about it. I mean, it's just like Keemstar. It's in character for him, I guess. But I mean, like I feel like there's a lot worse that Keemstar has done than just like saying Pokemon's 2 out of 10.
Sure,
that was the catalyst that started the whole Leafy video because of the tweet. Leafy did his video, and then everybody, there was a war on Twitter, etc. But it's like to me, it's like a guy making that judgment. Yeah, it's not that deep. I mean, go outside, you hear men being extremely more shitty.
I don't know if saying men. Hold on, wait. I don't know if saying there's dudes out there that are shittier than that is necessarily a good defense for Keemstar. My defense, I wouldn't even call it a defense, but my argument in that is that Keemstar is a piece of shit who does a lot of terrible stuff all the time and has like a lot more harm to the community. Him making some tweet that's like just kind of disrespectful and mean is probably like the least that like the least to get crazy about. But I will admit, his audience, like Keemstar's audience, did go and go like after Pokimane. It seems after that. So I don't know. Like it's I don't really care
because
that
they
much.
gave their reaction and everyone's freaking out. Like the Twitch community is making it seem like it's the worst thing in the world. So when you give it that attention, of course, I mean, really, what is the point of saying that Bowblax is part of the new skeptic community that's gonna, you know, make people sip the Kool-Aid? Like really, that's productive. How you want to make the world a better place? What's that gonna do?
I mean, I would hope that they would see it and maybe try to not have that happen. Generally, I mean, that's the goal. I don't dislike anybody in here. I want them to notice that this is a trend that's happening and assess whether or not they want to be a part of that themselves and do hopefully whatever they feel comfortable doing to prevent that from happening.
Are you gonna reflect on this later, Bowblax?
I feel like they're gonna exist no matter what I do, and obviously I can share my opinion, and I have, of saying like that. Yeah, I made my opinion crystal clear on like misogyny and all that. But I can't like you know block the video from these people watching it or whatever. And like, and if I say I disagree with it, like you're saying like it will dissuade people from watching my videos, I'm in a unique position again where like people who disagree with me watch and enjoy my videos. So if they disagree with me on that, they'll still watch and enjoy my videos because my videos feature multiple opinions, not just my own.
You don't want to
So
create an
I literally don't think
Well-
there's anything I can do unless
Well, if
I
your
just stop
content-
making videos.
Well, if your content, so the problem is that your content is a little bit different than most commentary creators because you, I think you worded that your channel is meant to archive particular drama, tweets, and all that shit happening with the drama.
Yes.
But how often do you like? I'm not sure exactly how much because I've only seen a couple of your videos. How much input from your personal opinion, commentary, do you think you put into your videos?
It really depends on the video and how much involvement I have. Sometimes it can be like almost nothing. Other times, like this video I'm working on right now, right before I went on this stream, is actually probably one of the most opinionated videos I've made in a while. It really just depends. But typically, I will make at least a few comments within a video.
Okay. I mean, like, if your comments are specifically calling out or going against the argument that, like, female streamers are ruining Twitch or Twitch thoughts are going too far, yada, yada, and you're making, like, an active effort of some kind to call out, like, some... Because, like, okay, let's... what does... Hold on, I think...
Well, I don't necessarily call it out. I just share my opinion that doesn't...
Yeah, sure.
reflect the opinion of
there's
those other
actually-
people, but I don't call them out.
I think that ironically enough, Philip DeFranco does a pretty decent job at this, where he'll say, "Here's my take on it. Say what your take is in the comments below." But if it's a topic that's like there's no two sides to it, then he won't even say that, right? So I think Philip DeFranco does it pretty well. The way that he gives his input in a particular bit of news, I think he does it really well.
Real quick,
I'm
we just quickly, Edwin.
I was just gonna say my impression of like Bowblax and Augie and like this type of show. We tend to laugh at the people that make a big fuzz out of like because there's so many people online, especially that conflate and make everything a bigger deal, like a 2 out of 10 tweet type of thing. They're making it seem like we're like Keemstar was judging her looks when there's so much more to a woman than her looks. There's her content, which if Keemstar doesn't like it, he doesn't have to, like, and of course I hate that Keemstar always have to be the fucking center of it because I don't like him either, but like puts him in a weird position where it seems like we're defending him. But basically there's so many examples where everything is always, oh, you don't like women. It's like, no, but it just becomes a lost cause. All right, go Augie.
Yeah, no, I don't know if like Keemstar's I can't really. Oh, excuse me. I just ate some nuggies before I started this. I can't say for a fact, like, 'cause I'm not inside Keemstar's head. I can't see exactly what he's thinking, what his intentions were with that tweet. I can just kind of go off of the past, like, claims and behavior of Keemstar and say he was probably trying to drum up drama. I mean, that's what Keemstar does. He benefits from it financially.
When there's nothing
sort of
in the news,
notice,
he creates it himself.
Yeah, or he makes shit up. I think generally, whenever there's a sort of movement that I'm saying, like a lot of people really fucking hate like the idea of like women on Twitch or doing certain things, or it's really fucking weird. There's like a really weird political thing happening on Twitch right now, and then you've got like bigger lefty streamers like Destiny and Hassan that are also pushing back against it, so it's causing a lot of like really, really polarized shit, and I kind of see it as like this weird thing that's going on. It's odd.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the old days back in like 2014 to 2016 with Gamergate and the Skeptic community.
Yeah, I definitely see your point, and like when someone initially came to me with your clip saying like, "Oh, people think you're like me reading tweets is like someone thinks me reading tweets, you know, puts people to the right." I thought you were kind of like crazy, not gonna lie, but I definitely do see your point. I just disagree that I'm part of it, but I do see your point, and I
Well, to
am
be
self-aware
fair,
of my audience.
to be fair,
So
Bowblax, there was no good argument
All
on
right,
his
I
end,
gotta
in
jump in
other words.
here.
And
Real quick,
also,
we got a
I just want to ask,
giant.
are noogies chicken
Okay,
nuggets?
quickly, Edwin, quickly, please.
I just wanted to clarify, are noogies chicken nuggets? I never heard
You
that
fucking
term.
interrupted me for that.
Yeah, it's very important.
That's a
I'm
very
sure the
important
chat-
question. Yeah. Okay, hold on now. I just gotta say right now, real quick. Massive donation just happened. Turtle just threw $200 in the super chat. They
Damn.
wrote, Edwin with the big W. I've been holding this donation since I learned of this debate. Personal interest and such. My sister has autism. I've grown up around them. They don't care about your R word or they don't care about your R word. Okay.
Yeah, generally
I mean,
autistic people don't care about the R word.
Yeah, hey, that's my position too. I see a ton of people that call me out on fucking lefty Twitter because lefty Twitter hates me, saying I'm like an ableist piece of shit who says slurs all the time when I literally actively go out of my way to call out real instances of ableism, such as like the infantilization of people with autism, saying things like autistic people are mentally children or incapable of being like
I
as
appreciate you calling that out a lot.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that
that's
pisses me
a
off.
big deal to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I generally think the R word is not used in a way that is meant to shit on like autistic people or people with ADHD or anything like that in like modern parlance. Yep,
Yeah,
I agree with that.
With that, man.
Okay, Edwin, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, man. Thanks for calling in. Really appreciate it.
And that $200. Oh shit, dude.
Yeah,
Give me a
fucking
comment.
Yeah, nice
just on that note, yeah, there's been a fuckload of super chats. I'm not gonna make Xander Hall sit through fucking like an hour of super chats. That's just unacceptable. I think, you know, so far, I think, you know, this has been a very good conversation.
Yeah.
There is one last YouTuber in there. Do we even pull this? It's Rose.
Hold on. I want to
agree. If there's one thing we can agree on in this debate is that Rose is quite the character on the.
It'll be a weird debate. I've already the consensus was that I won my debate with her because she sounded so fucking dumb. But yeah, I mean, if you want to bring her in, it could be entertaining.
For our channel, I had no idea who Rose was until last Monday, and she called in trying to actually accuse Nick Diorio, the guy who you just talked to a couple callers ago, of being a racist. Here's the thing, right? She claimed she had footage of Nick's mom talking about how Nick uses the N-word a lot. Here's the thing. Nick, not only does he not use the N-word, even in private, and I could say this as a friend of Nick's who talks to him quite frequently on Discord, Nick, even in private, he will avoid saying the N-word. So that was just crazy. That was quite the conversation. Now, I didn't know that she had a debate with you, Xander, because
I think she's a troll. I believe she's a troll. She literally came in.
I'm
she
half
literally
and half. I could equally believe that she is a troll as much as I could believe that she's just crazy.
Well, she admitted she's a troll, so
I don't know if she's trying to like throw me off. Like there's like so many levels of like reverse psychology.
So after my debate with her, our debate was about like transgender stuff because she claims to be a trans woman. And we like talked about it, and she unironically did the like, what if I identify as an attack helicopter joke, which is very 2014.
A little dated.
And after our debate, people started sending me like screenshots of her Twitter where she tweeted things like how she wants to be raped because that's what she's into, or she's okay with rape, like women want to be raped by men, like shit like that. I think she's a troll. I don't believe she's.
She tried to accuse. I think I forget even who it was. One of us being homophobic. And then immediately, like, my fans started, like, digging through her stuff, and they found her, like, tweets where she's, like, talking about, like, how she wants, like, F-slurs, like, die or something weird like that. It was just pretty extreme stuff for somebody who, yeah. You know what? I'll throw her in, and I will say this. I might kick her if she's just too...
I'm ready for the content, my dude. Hey, Rose Mullet, how you doing?
Rose!
Hey, I'm on.
What's going on, Rose?
Hey, I'm on.
Yeah, you are on. You are on the air.
All right, so I just wanted to say I am a big fan. I think you guys did a really good job debating. I think it was really productive. As you guys have heard, I've had beef with both of you, Xander Hall and Augie. I
Yeah.
did make some mistakes going after Nicholas Diorio, but I do want to mention the whole Turkey Tom thing because I'm changing my
Wait,
exposed
what?
video
Tom's not
to
even
Turkey
here.
Tom. I know. What I meant to when I went after Nicholas Diorio, I really should have gone after Turkey Tom. And after being educated on you guys, getting to know you guys a bit more, I think you guys are pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, let's go. But what does this have to do with the debate, Rose? Like we're talking.
Oh,
Like, do you have any comments on tonight? Like, come
but
on
you
now.
guys, like, the thing I say is you guys have this weird culture where you just say, like, a whole bunch of edgy things. And your guys' weird stance on the N-word. Like, if someone says the N-word, that's completely fine to you?
I don't
Rose, you
recall
literally
that.
came onto my stream defending blatantly transphobic arguments. You know that, right?
I am okay. First of all, I'm transgender, and
You
I'm
can
against,
well, you
like-
can be transphobic without being transgender. Stop pulling the fucking id pull on me. I swear to God, I will literally kill myself on stream in a
my
video
God.
game right now. I can't.
No, I'm
I
against-
can't. I hear this argument so much, and it makes me want to die.
I'm against non-binary people calling themselves trans because I think
They're by
it doesn't
definition
make them
transgender.
transphobic.
You can literally fucking Google it. I sent you a whole document with academic resources that back up my positions. Why are you still using the fucking "I'm trans, I can't be transphobic" id pull argument? You think black people
Well-
can't be racist?
First of all, if I'm anything, I'm non-binary phobic. But my core belief is that trans and non-binary are two completely different things. You know, they're not the same thing. So
I don't care
if
about
I
your
hate
feelings.
trans people-
Facts don't care about your feelings, ma'am. I'm sorry. Listen to me. I literally sent you a fucking treatise of data and meta-analysis of synthesized data put together, and they all agree that to be transgender is to identify as a different gender than when it's signed at birth. Non-binary people are by definition transgender. This is recognized by the mass majority of the medical community. Among like, it's just not debated outside of like fucking people on the internet who feel a different way.
Okay, well, here's the thing. We fundamentally disagree on the definition, and the definition used to be that transgender is from one to another. Now, certain sources will say that the definition is different, but it's actually well debated. Of course, you're only going to mention the sources that mention the definition that you want, but there are places that say, "Hey, being trans."
Can you name a
just includes the
single
term
one?
Transsexual.
Can you like name a single one?
I don't have it on me right now, but I'll know because I'm trans myself. And being like in 2014, the discourse back then was that being trans was from one to the other. There wasn't this non-binary thing.
I don't care what the
People-
discourse was back then. I care about what the data and what the academics say and what the consensus among doctors is. I have the fucking DSM-5. Hold on. I'll go ahead and I'll fucking
I
list
don't have
the.
it on me now because I wasn't expecting to, talk about like the other stuff we were talking about, like, is Bowblax a pipeline to the alt-right?
Okay, what is your opinion on that?
Honestly, I heard about the Black People song. I listened to
Oh
the Black
no!
Lives Matter song. That was
No.
pretty yikesy.
Listen, we're
Pretty
talking
yikes.
about
I mean,
this,
what?
okay?
I actually thought you guys had some really interesting takes. I don't think like his content leads people down the alt-right. I think he generally tries to stay away from politics. And I think if you make non-political content, I don't think that's political. I don't think he's taking a political stand. But I just think this community in general can be a little yikesy, in my opinion. Like,
Rose
talking to you
knows
guys,
too
I'm
much.
No, but like talking to you guys, I've become a lot more understanding on your opinions and how you feel about certain things.
you
So it's
get
like-
it now.
No, I totally get it now. And I obviously I apologize for the way I was coming off. I totally made some mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just talking to you guys is just, it's been a
You
good
know what, Rose?
experience.
Whatever you did to me, I don't even care if you did anything. I don't care if you spit on my face. You literally came on my show and told me you had a private meeting with Donald Trump Jr. So whatever you did
Oh
to me
my
that was
God.
wrong, I don't care. You gave me so many stories. You gave me so much content. I'm still going to make
Oh,
that
no.
clip video, by the way. It has to
Wait,
be done
what
now.
clip video? For me?
Of everything. Everything. It
Oh
was
my
just
God.
amazing.
No, but that's the thing. I specifically wanted a moment. I knew that me being going on and saying that, like, obviously I was exaggerating, right? Like, it wasn't
You
a
need to
private
get
event.
us in contact with Donald Trump Jr. I think that's what needs to happen.
I don't know if that'll happen. I was in a
Hook us up. Give us
I
the
was
line.
invited. I had some contacts that got me in that situation. And I
Did
got a
you know?
I have private video exclusive of him talking about like.
Are you
Russia and
allowed to be
stuff.
talking about this right now, Rose? I'm not sure about this.
I think so.
Rose, I think the feds are coming for you. You've gone too far now. Oh, they're coming.
Like, it was a private event, but it wasn't like anything like super. It
They
was
got their
basically
attack
about
helicopters
people
coming,
having,
Rose.
like, a tour across
They're
the US.
coming in.
And it was like he was talking to like his insiders and like the people there, like, oh, you know, this is what we're gonna do throughout the tour. It really wasn't like anything crazy. There was a bunch of media people there.
She's lying
They
right
are
now.
now.
She's 100% lying.
No,
This
I
chick's a
swear
troll.
to
I
God, like,
fucking
have
guarantee
video
this
footage
chick's a
of this.
troll.
It was
I
a
do
fun
not believe this lady
experience.
is real.
Obviously, I'm not. I'm the only Democrat there, but
You're
Yeah.
a Democrat?
you just have to you have to convince enough people that you're on their side. and
Last
just
time you
get
got on my
into
show, you
this.
told me you were like a groiper.
Yeah, you told me.
No.
Wait, you literally
I
argued like
told you I
against the
actually-
concept of
Oh, okay.
egalitarianism in our debate.
So what is egalitarianism?
To think that everyone ought to have like equitable ability or equal treatment or equal ability to achieve, maximize their happiness and
Okay,
so on.
so let me say, after being on the
You cut out.
Oh,
She
they
died.
got her. They got her,
they've
guys.
been talking about like, you know, very leftist ideas. And I've been thinking about myself and I've been thinking, yeah, I actually like that. I don't think everyone should be completely equal, but I think people deserve living wages. I think the way the system currently treats us, it's really bad and like some stuff should be fixed. I wouldn't call myself a communist.
Amazing.
Capitalism as it is needs to be fixed. There's a lot wrong with it.
Amazing.
But-
Okay.
No,
Amazing.
everybody
Thank
doesn't
you,
deserve
Rose.
equal rights, right? Like gay people should deserve less.
Oh no,
than-
I'm all about gay rights. I'm all about gay people are equal to
Oh,
other
she
people.
learned from Monday.
What
She
about
enrolled
non-binary
in the
people?
law. She
Non-binary
learned.
people deserve equal rights. 100%.
Do you-
Well,
do you
who
believe-
does-
do you
who
believe they
deserves
deserve
less
the-
rights?
Non-binary people calling
You
themselves
said
trans, but
everyone
equality is
can't
real.
have equal rights, so who deserves less rights? Which group of people?
No. What I said is that everyone shouldn't make the same amount of money.
Who should make
Like-
less money though?
What I'm saying is that certain jobs should make, like a doctor should
Oh,
make
jobs.
more.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like literally.
Get out
all
of
I
here,
mean.
Rose. Get out of here.
I
I'm
wanted
sorry.
to say like
I had to indulge.
gay
I had to
people
indulge.
deserve less money or something. Like
Oh, she
women
was saying
deserve less
crazy
pay.
shit.
She's a
Dude,
troll. I don't believe that she's
I know.
real.
I know.
I
she
had
is.
to indulge. You know, there are people DM me. They're like, "Bring Rose." I'm like, "Oh my god, do I even? Do I even?"
It's good
I had to.
content. It's good content.
Yeah,
she
you
makes
know
me.
what?
She knows exactly what buttons to hit to make me want to kill myself. It's actually kind of it's actually admirable.
In
I'll admit it.
Minecraft,
In a video game.
Minecraft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just jump in a
exactly.
ravine in Minecraft. You know, straight into lava.
metaphorically speaking, of course.
Yeah, of course. Never. I
So,
would never advocate
Justin
for.
Wang in my chat says Twitch streamers deserve the most. They do. You know what?
Oh, Justin
Yeah,
Wang's a
they
cool dude.
deserve
He
more
follows me.
pay
He's a
than
cool dude.
YouTubers. Well, they do get more pay than YouTubers. So.
Do they? I mean, well, it depends. Obviously,
Twitch,
like.
yeah.
Twitch streamers. Okay, if you had like 1 million subs on YouTube and then 1 million followers on Twitch, the Twitch streamer would make way more.
It
more.
depends. Fuck. Okay, so I don't really do full-time Twitch. I do. So the way that I do my monetization is I stream to Twitch and YouTube simultaneously, and I have a website that has like a
that's
custom
smart.
that's like a custom payment system for like tier 1, 2, and 3, and 4 subs, and yet like a donation
Sounds
thing.
expensive.
I had a friend of mine build it, and I pay her, but she mostly built it like initially before I was making any money. She built it like as a
Wait,
out of the
you
promise
use
of
the same
feature.
system that Destiny uses, right? Like that.
Some of the main base code is from that because the code for that website's public, but someone else made it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he made it open source so other people could,
Yeah, I know
could
what
do
you're
that.
talking about now. Yeah,
It's a-
because
yeah.
I've seen some of your content before. I see you have the website chat and then you don't
Yeah.
really use the actual chat.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Twitch chat, bitch chat, YouTube chat, fucking irrelevant. I don't know. Yeah, I just read my own chat. Yeah, it's pretty neat. But in
can't
regards
wait
to like,
You watch this stream on your channel and see the chat's reaction to my shit. I
my
feel like
chat, my chat's just they just spam random shit the whole time.
Keemstar rated Pokemon from 2 out of 10. What would you say your chat is rating me? Let's hear it.
Like your content or how you look or what?
No. Just like throughout this discussion, like, are they like fucking angry at me? Are they like
0 out of 10.
I don't know. What do you guys think, chat? What do you guys? What's your opinion? I got like 500
Oh,
viewers
God.
right now across YouTube and Twitch.
There you go.
Okay.
Chat
The Augie
says
rating.
5, 10, 3, 3, 2, 3,
That's
5.
not
Wait,
bad,
that's
is
3 out of
it?
5. 3 out of 5.
Three.
5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. 6 out of 10. 6. Most people in my chat like freaked the fuck out when you guys brought in Edwin. They were like, they were pretty happy. They like him.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Edwin's probably one of the he's a great dude.
Edwin's a great guy. I love Edwin.
You're getting some stuff.
Okay.
Chat seems to like you guys, so you're good.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Making new friends.
Yeah, if they disliked me, I'd call them ableist anyway. So.
Listen, if
I'm
you're,
kidding, I'm
hey, listen, if your
kidding.
chat,
I'm
if
kidding.
listen, I'm white as the purely driven snow. If your chat doesn't like me, they're anti-white. It's crazy.
True.
Tough scene right
All right.
there.
Xander, we've had you on for so long. I appreciate you coming on, man. You seem like a pretty fucking chill dude, and I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on.
We may have disagreements or whatever, but I really enjoyed the
I just
conversation.
hope you saw my point, because I saw your point, so hopefully I like educated you a little bit on like my opinion and view, even if you don't necessarily change your mind. Hopefully you understood where I was coming from.
I get where you're coming from. I had the same position. Like I had the same position on a YouTuber or a content creator's responsibility to their audience back in like 2019 or whatever. But then after some stuff happened, I realized that there is probably a certain level of responsibility creators have for like the audience that they accumulate.
Maybe my opinion will evolve to Xander Hall levels in a couple of years. Who knows?
Oh God.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Hey, listen, dude. If you ever want to come on and talk about it, I'm down to have like a more in-depth discussion on it at any time.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, take care, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good one, my dude. See ya. I really wanted to talk about the the differences between streaming and like the Twitch like the Twitch and YouTube copyrights shit. I really wanted to talk about that. That would have been really, really fun. That was still pretty fun though. That was a good talk, I think. I know a lot of people probably wanted me to go super hard on them and like be really like mean or bad faith or something, but I deliberated this a lot with my girlfriend before I went live. Or for like the last couple days since this became like a thing we're gonna do, and she recommended that I try my best to be as good faith as possible. And even though there's like a lot of people in the chat from their end that probably won't have their minds changed and they'll just spam them like I'm a fucking retard the whole time, it's probably still going in like with the best optics possible, trying to meet them at their level, meet them where they're at, and see if I can convince them. Because there's no way I come out of that. Like if I go in hard and like confrontational, there's no way I come out of that looking good. Thanks, Apex Interest Fox. Yeah. Yeah, it was still pretty fun, I think. Pretty productive. It was good, you did good. Thank you, guys. Hearts, Peppo hugs. Anyway, that was pretty good. Who knows, maybe we'll talk to them in the future. I wish I'd gotten to talk to Muda. That would have been good. I think Muda probably would have backed me up in that, because, or at the very least would have like made a point, like been there to make a good point about the, what was it? God, I'm so tired. The hate symbols video, because Muda unknowingly basically lended an argument for the same shit the far right says in that video, unknowingly, right? And he said he liked my video. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. It was pretty interesting. We'll see what happens in the future. Maybe Augie and Bowblax will take it into Bowblax. I keep saying Blowbacks. Bowblax. We'll take into account, and it'll be interesting in the future. We'll see. I doubt this is going to be the end of the commentary arc. Who knows? Probably come on here once or twice again and see what happens. It's pretty fun.